So Rudy Giuliani saying that if you haven't been in the State Department, you don't have diplomatic experience. But, while you're running for president, you're working for a living. A couple bills in the last week, one on Burma and one on the International Violence Against Women Act.
Right. Well, look, first of all, with regard to Rudy, God love him, if he thinks that you have to be in the State Department, know anything about foreign policy. I was negotiating with Brezhnev and Kosygin on arms control agreements literally in 1979. I've been deeply involved in American foreign policy, and I think I've finally convinced the majority of the United States Congress, the United States Senate, for an exit strategy from Iraq that will not allow us to leave without leave chaos behind. We'll get our troops out and have some stability. And with regard to what's going on right now, one of the things I'm proudest of is that I've been able to convince Republicans as well as Democrats to join up practical solutions to complicated problems, from the Violence Against Women's Act nationally here, but now internationally. We should be encouraging international communities to engage in better treatment of women. The single most significant thing that we can do to change the international environment, according to most scholars, is literally empower women in countries where they are not empowered at all. And so that's what this legislation does. And Rudy is a good guy, but if Rudy's foreign policy is based on the fact that he believes that Cheney was a great pick for vice president and Bernie Carrick should be head of the Homeland Security Department, I think Rudy should run for mayor again.
Well, and meanwhile, at the State Department, that hasn't exactly, working there doesn't mean you're an excellent diplomat. We just saw the second departure of Karen Hughes, who, after being World Ambassador of Goodwill, we still see that in Pakistan we have a 15% favorable rating, according to the latest Pew study. So now, while you've mentioned Pakistan in the debates as more of a threat than the Iranian nuclear program, how do you contain that and worry about them while at the same time bringing up our approval numbers there?
Three things. One, you got to have a Pakistani policy, not a Musharraf policy. This administration has a General Musharraf policy. And so what you have to do is there's a vast majority, a significant middle of the population of Pakistan is democratic and middle class. But what's happening is, absent free elections, you're forcing them underground, radicalizing them. And you're giving great sway to that portion of the population that's already radicalized in Pakistan, particularly in the northwestern province. So what you do is you come forward with a concentrated long-term commitment to Pakistan, dealing with the things that could change their environment, which is education, providing for monies and support for early education and for college education, engaged in those programs which would help them build an economy that people actually prosper under. That's why this country is becoming more radicalized. Secondly, you have to have a policy in Afghanistan, an Afghanistan policy that indicates we're there to stay and build that country, because absent that, Musharraf's going to make his deal with the most radical elements in the Northwest province as he sees Pakistan, as he sees Afghanistan fall. And so there's a whole lot of things we could be doing and should be doing. My point about Pakistan is that if we somehow continue this failed policy in the region, what will happen is if Pakistan is totally radicalized, you will see a nation that already has nuclear weapons deployed, already has missiles that can carry those weapons. That would be a disaster. And when Mayor Giuliani was asked who was further along on nuclear weapons, he said he didn't know whether it was Iran or Pakistan. How can somebody like that be president of the United States right now? So he may learn all this. I'm not suggesting he can. But diplomacy is about understanding that all these pieces connect. If we were ever to attack Iran, we will radicalize Pakistan beyond anything it is now. You'll see Musharraf fall. You will see the circumstances in Kabul change drastically. All these things are connected. And my sense is none of the Republicans except John McCain understands that.